Today, we are diving deep into one single incredible character. Now, you've probably seen this before, right? Maybe in some artwork, on a tattoo, or in a movie. It's one of those symbols that just feels like it has this deep, mysterious meaning. And let me tell you, it absolutely delivers.
So, take a good look at this character. In its simplest, most direct sense, it just means nothing. But what if that nothing was actually the key to, well, everything? That's the beautiful paradox we're going to unpack together. Now, before we get to the big, mind-bending, philosophical stuff, we really need to understand the character's day job. We've got to start with its simple, direct meanings in everyday language.
Okay, so this character is pronounced wu in Mandarin and mu in Japanese. And fundamentally, it's all about absence. Its main jobs are to mean nothing, without, or just a plain old no. It's the go-to symbol for when something just isn't there. This is our foundation, so let's lock that in.
But here's the thing. It's not just some abstract idea for philosophers to think about. Nope. It's also a super hard-working piece of grammar, a real building block of language. And what's so cool is how it works. It's going to feel surprisingly familiar to anyone who speaks English. For instance, if you put mu right before the character for ability, you get mufa. And that means, you guessed it, lacking the ability to do something. You are, in other words, unable. See that? It works exactly like our English prefix un, to just flip the meaning of the word that follows.
Let's try another one. Here, we've got mu combined with the character for effect. Together, they form u shall, which means without effect, or, as we'd say, invalid. So yeah, it can also act just like our prefix in. Pretty neat, huh? And this last one really shows you how versatile it is. This phrase, wucha ke gui, literally translates to without a home to return to. It's the perfect equivalent of our suffix less, giving us the idea of being homeless. So, un, in, and less, this one little character can do the job of all three. Incredible.
So, where did this powerhouse of a character even come from? Well, it was born in China thousands of years ago, but its story gets really interesting when it travels across the sea to Japan. It gets adopted and, kind of takes on a whole new life of its own.
The first thing that changed was how it sounded. Back home in Mandarin Chinese, it's pronounced wu. But when the Japanese brought the character into their language, they fit it into their own sound system. That's how it became mu, and sometimes bu. Same symbol, totally different voice. And what's just amazing is that visually, for centuries and centuries, the character looked exactly the same in both classical Chinese and Japanese. I mean, look at that. Even today, Japan uses that ancient form. The big visual change only happened in the 20th century, when mainland China decided to reform its script. And here is that split, plain as day. On the left, you've got the traditional 12-stroke form, mu, which is still the standard in Japan, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. And on the right, that's the modern simplified Chinese version, mu. It's such a radical change, from 12 complex strokes all the way down to just 4.
Okay, so we've covered grammar and we've covered history, but the real reason this character is so famous in the West, it has way less to do with language and a whole lot more to do with philosophy. This is where we get into the profound Zen Buddhist concept of mu.
So in Zen practice, a master might give a student a kind of paradoxical riddle called a koan. A really famous one asks, does a dog have Buddha nature? Now the right answer isn't yes, and it's not no. The answer is mu. Mu is a way of unasking the question. It suggests the whole question is based on a flawed idea and points you toward a truth that's way beyond simple opposites.
All right, to really, truly appreciate Muji in Japan, we got to see it in its natural habitat. See, Japanese writing is so unique because it's not just one system. It's this dynamic, amazing mix of 3 different scripts all working together. And these complex Chinese characters, called kanji, are just one piece of that very intricate puzzle.
Just look at this comparison. That first sentence is what typical written Japanese looks like. It's mixing the complex kanji with that simple, curvy script called hiragana. Now the second sentence says the exact same thing, I am a cat, but it's written only in hiragana. Can you feel the difference? The whole texture just changes.
So you might be thinking, why not just use the simple script all the time? Well, it would be a total nightmare to read. First off, Japanese doesn't use spaces between words, so the bigger kanji act like these crucial signposts that show you where one word ends and the next one begins.
But even more important, so many words sound exactly the same. The sound kami written in hiragana could mean God or paper or hair. Without those unique kanji to tell you which is which, you would be completely lost.
That being said, writing everything in hiragana does create a very specific feeling. A sentence like watashi wa neko desu feels really soft and simple, almost childlike. It's considered kawaii or cute because it looks like how a child might write before they've learned all the difficult characters. In fact, this style is famously used in the title of the classic Japanese novel, I Am a Cat.
So, on one hand, we have this complex, ancient kanji, mu, and on the other, we have this simple phonetic hiragana symbol for the sound mu. I mean, they look like they come from totally different worlds, right? But what if I told you they are one and the same? How on earth did that intricate symbol turn into this simple little curve? The secret, it turns out, is speed. You start with the full 12-stroke kanji, mu. Now, imagine scribes over hundreds of years writing this thing faster and faster and faster in a cursive style. The sharp angles start to soften up and loop around. The little details get blurry, and eventually, that complex symbol for nothing gets worn down and smoothed out into this simple, elegant shape, mu. The hiragana for the sound mu. Mind-blowing, right?
So just think about that. A character that means nothing literally gave birth to a piece of an alphabet. A symbol of complete absence ended up creating something brand new. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible histories and secrets are hidden all around us, just waiting to be discovered in the plain sight of the words we use every single day?